What is morphology? Each and every word structure, internal structure, we'll be learning how the words are defined, how it is framed, everything you will be learning. And in POS tagging, if a word has a multiple POS tags, parts of speech tag, what is the exact POS tag based on the given context, based on the previous words and the next words. Okay, so that we have learned. So now we have each word, how it is framed, and each word, what is the POS tagging. So these two are done. Next level, next one level up. So still now we have handled the individual words, how each words are framed. For example, if it is a cats, how this internally it is framed. It is a cat plus a plural s. So two morphemes are there. Cat is a root word, and to make it as a plural, there is a bound morpheme attached to the root word. That is what is that cat root word is called as what morpheme?
Free morpheme.
Okay, free morpheme is also called as
Stem.
Stem. Good. So free, so that we have seen, and S is called as what in cats?
It's affix.
Affix. It is also called as what morpheme?
Bound morpheme.
Bound morpheme. Good. So that we have learned in the thing, and how to assign a POS tagging for each and every word that we have seen in POS tagging. Next, we will be moving one level up, that we call it as syntax. Okay, we will be learning the syntax. Okay. So next level, we are what is syntax? Syntax is can we arrange these words in a certain groups. So we have a words, we have studied the internal structure of a word, and we have a word, and we have seen the POS tagging for the words. So now next level is, so words we know how it is framed, and for each and every word I know the POS tagging of the word. The next level what you have to do is how to arrange these words to make a proper sentence. So what we speak is actually same as what we write, whether it will be true. Whatever we are speaking, the same way, whether we will be writing, put it in a words also. When you're writing, we'll be checking all the grammar, proper sentence, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Whatever I am conveying to you, the same thing I will not put it in a paper when I want to write it in terms of words. Yes or no? Whether when you are talking, whether you are following all grammatical structure, everything properly, when you want to convey something, whether the word ordering is proper when we convey something.
No, ma'am.
No, but when you put it in a proper, when you put it in a written format, okay, so you will be seeing all this. So now that is called as a syntax. What is syntax? Next level is how we can arrange these words. We have a words, we know that words internal structure, we know the words POS tagging. Now we have to arrange these words to make a proper sentence. So can we arrange these words in a certain groups? Okay, this we will see in the syntax in this section, how words are arranged together and how we can automatically found this arrangement, how the words can be arranged together to make a proper sentence. So how we can make a proper arrangement, how we have to find out automatically how an arrangement can be done to form a new sentence. Okay, so this is so that we will be in syntax that we will be learning in the topic called parsing. Okay, so the words are arranged normally in, that is the way we speak, and the words are arranged in the sentence, what we write are entirely different. Okay, so before that we'll know what is syntax. So syntax refers to the way that the words are arranged together, so that and the relationship between the words to make a proper sentence. So we have a word, we know the POS tagging of the word. So based on that, syntax refers to the way in which how we have to arrange the words together so that we have a proper relationship and to make a proper sentence. Okay, that we also see that the relationship between the words and the word groups should be proper. Then only our sentence will be a proper complete sentence. Okay, so if you take in language modeling, what we have learned in language modeling, can anyone tell me in language modeling? What we have learned in language modeling, what is the main objective of a language model? What is the main objective of POS tagging? What is the main objective of POS tagging? What is the main objective of POS tagging?
To give a unique tag to each
For
word.
the each word. Okay. What is the main objective of morphology? Each chapter we have some objectives, right? What is the main objective of morphology?
Identifying the stem and the affixes.
That is the identity, that is study of the internal structure of the word, how that words are framed. Okay. What is the stem word? What are the affixes, suffixes? What is the bound morpheme which is are added to make the word as a complete word? Yes or no? So cat, if I take it forms a complete word by adding a cat root word by adding a plural s to it. So cat root word is a free morpheme and s is a bound morpheme. It is attached. Similarly, what is an objective of language model?
I'm given n words. How do I find the n plus 1th word?
That is a word ordering. Next, importance of word ordering, right? In language model, we'll be talking about the word order. What will be the next word given the n word? Okay, which word comes after what? Okay, which word comes after I want? So I want dash. So what after want? What are all the possible words comes after this? Okay. So that we are learned in language model, that is finding what next word in the given sentence for the complete for the sentence completion task, spelling correction task. All these are the applications of language modeling. So if you take POS category, equivalent class for words. What is a POS class for a given word? That we will be learning. These are various POS grammatical categories, and we will be taking out what is the exact grammatical category every word. Whereas in syntax, we will be discussing about what is constituencies, what is grammatical relations. This is an objective of syntax. If there are objectives of POS tagging, finding the unique tag from the set of tags available for the given word. Similarly, if you take the objectives of language model, it is used to predict what word comes after what. It is used for word ordering. That is, applications will be sentence completion task, spelling correction task. Similarly, if you take syntax, here what we'll be discussing. So here we'll be discussing what is constituencies, what are the different grammatical relationship among the words. We have different grammatical relationships. So how to find out after noun phrase what will come. We know what is noun. This word is a noun. This word is a verb that we have identified in POS tagging. But now all these words I have to check whether the word which is what is a sentence? How will you define a sentence? What can be one complete sentence? Is a collection of
Words.
words. Okay, so I have a words. How it is framed, I know. I have a POS category for the words. So now my task is in syntax. My task is how to combine all these words to make a proper sentence. Yes or no? What words are grouped together to form constituencies? So what is constituencies? We'll be learning. What are all the words which is grouped together to form one constituencies? All these will be included here. Okay, okay. So generally, what is the syntax? Syntax refers to the way that the words are arranged together in a sentence. How the words are arranged in a sentence and to make a proper meaningful sentence. Okay. Syntax is also an important part of in natural language processing. Why? Because the whatever we tell is not correct. If you put it in the written format, it will not give a proper sentence. So you should have to take some care to make all the words to arrange it in proper way to make a proper sentence. See, for that, this is an example of a syntax tree. Finally, you will be drawing a syntax tree for the given words. Okay, in the words in the present in a sentence. If you can able to end up with a proper tree like this, then the sentence is grammatical, is correct. If you can't able to end up a proper tree like this, then the sentence whatever you have given is not grammatical. So there is some grammatical change. There is some ordering has to be done to make a sentence as a grammatical one. So this you no need to worry about this. This I am showing you. Why? Because this is the final step which you are going to arrive at. Finally, you will be drawing a syntax tree for given sentence. And if you can able to draw the tree completely, then if you can able to draw complete tree, then we can say that the given sentence is grammatical. If you can't able to draw the complete tree for the given sentence, then we can say that sentence is not a grammatical. Okay. So can you tell me what is the sentence here in this example? Don't think about how to draw the tree. Finally, you will be drawing this tree. Okay, that is the problem. You'll be top-down parsing is there, bottom-up parsing is there. Using top-down, you will be starting from the root node S and you will be reaching the leaf node, all the words. Whereas in bottom-up parsing, you will be learning parsing to construct the syntax tree. Okay, that I will be teaching you. This is one sample example. I have told you a small tree. So can you tell me what is what are the words, what is the sentence they have taken to draw a syntax tree here?
The man read this book.
The man read the book. Okay, so what are the words I have here? This is the sentence they have given. So what are the words I have here?
Read.
What are the words I have here in the sentence? The
The man.
Man read, very good, this book. Okay, 5 words are here. And they have given the POS tagging for the words. Yes. What is the POS tagging they have given for each words? The as a determiner, man as a noun, read as a verb, this as a determiner, and book as a noun. This how we have known? This step how we have arrived? Till this step we have already learned, right? This step how we have arrived in?
POS tagging.
POS tagging. So we know the words are given. We know the internal structure of the word, how it is formed. Also, we have learned everything, whether it is a singular, plural, all this we have learned using morphology, and the POS tagging for each word is given. So the above level is, after having all this, I have to construct a tree like this. So POS tagging, we found out that the is a determiner, man has a noun, red is a verb, etc. So now we are going one level up. Okay, by constructing a tree. Okay, so what they are giving, the man. Okay, so the man, the determiner and noun together forms a noun phrase. Okay, they are telling it's a noun phrase. In the given sentence, the is a determiner. How we are arriving at that we'll be learning later. This is on sample tree. I am telling you how this tree can be constructed. So the words we will be knowing from the sentence. We will be taking the words. For the words, POS tagging is already done. From the tagging, I have to frame the phrases and I have to make it as a complete tree. So the determiner and the noun together. Noun is also called as a nominal. Okay, nominal, or they will also other word called nominal. Okay, nominal can be a single noun or it can be a collection of nouns. That's why they call it as nominal, N-U-M. So the noun, the and the man together forms what phrase? The man forms what phrase? The man noun phrase. Similarly, this is a determiner and book is a noun. So determiner followed by a noun that is follows again what phrase?
Noun phrase.
Noun phrase. Okay, so but verb, read comes before the noun, and I have a word called read and that is a verb. Okay, so we have a verb before a noun phrase. Okay, so it makes what? So now the verb and the noun phrase together forms what?
Verb phrase.
Verb phrase. Okay, so verb phrase. So this verb phrase, so this verb plus a noun phrase form a verb phrase. So this noun phrase and verb phrase forms what?
The sentence.
The sentence. Good. So the sentence is made up of 2 units, basically 2 units. One is a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Okay. Then again the verb phrase will have so this gives the complete, again the verb phrase will have a verb followed by a noun phrase. This noun phrase will have again determiner and a nominal. So from this tree, this is a root node. Root node will always be as, why I am telling is the root node in a tree should be a sentence and the leaf node of the tree should be the leaf node of the tree should be what?
Word.
Words given in the sentence. And the intermediate level will be the POS tagging for the words and the phrases. Okay. So this gives the man is 1 unit, read this book is other unit. So this word is divided into 2 units, one noun phrase and verb phrase. Again, sub level we will be having it. So the root node of the tree is the given sentence and the leaf node of the tree is the words present in the given sentence. So this gives the complete hierarchical structure, that how the words are arranged or completed to form a given sentence. If I can able to draw a tree like this for a given sentence, then I can say that the given sentence is grammatical. If I can't able to draw a tree like this, if I can't able to draw, then the given sentence is not grammatical. There is something wrong in that. Okay, so sentence is nothing but, so here a sentence is nothing but what? Noun phrase and the verb phrase. So noun phrase is determiner and nominal. Nominal is nothing but a noun or a collection of nouns. I can have one noun or I can have 2, 3 nouns together. Noun followed by another noun like that. Okay. Verb, phrase, noun phrase. This how we are going to construct. That we are going to will be dealing in detail in the coming slides. So this we call it as what? Overall, this tree structure, the hierarchical structure, we call it as what?
Syntax tree.
Syntax tree. This is the topic which we are to deal in this class, to see how to come up with this syntax tree for some sentence. If a sentence is given, how to draw a tree for this sentence. That is the topic of this class. Okay. So before that, we will start off with some definitions. Okay. So what is constituents? What is constituents? Can you read out and can you tell me what is constituents? I have given here. What is constituents? In the previous example, what is a constituent? What are the two constituents I have? A group of words acts as a single unit. It is called as a constituent. Constituent is also called as phrases or clauses. So what are the two phrases I have in the previous example?
Noun.
Noun phrase and verb.
Very good. That's why I have explained you this example. If I am not explaining you, you can't able to understand what is constituency. Okay. So constituent is a collection of words. We have different phrases. We have noun phrase, adjective phrase, prepositional phrase, verb phrase, like that. What is a phrase? A phrase may be a single word, can be a phrase, or the collection of words together to form a phrase. Okay. So group of words acts as if you have a group of words, and all the group of here, what is a group of words that forms a noun phrase? In the previous example, what are the group of words that forms a noun phrase?
The man.
The man. The man, and verb phrase has verb followed by a noun phrase. In that noun phrase is this book. Yes or no? So this is called constituents, is also called as phrases or noun class or noun phrase, or we call it as a group of words that acts as a single unit. Okay. So we will be having a parts of speech. The dash one is in the corner. So what and all I can add it here? The dash one is in the corner. Fill in with any of the adjectives. So POS is in the dash. So what I can fill? Sad one is in the corner, the intelligent one is sitting in the corner, the green one is in the corner, fat one is in the corner. Like that I can add any words. Okay. So why I am giving this substitution test? So what comes after what? So what are these words, set of words here? This set of what is it? May be these are a set of words which belonging to. These are all the set. See, this is some dash. The dash one is in a corner. This means what I have. I can write. I can fill with any of these words, right? Yes or no? The sad one is sitting in the corner, or intelligent one is in the corner, green one in the corner, fat one in the corner, like this. Okay, so substitution test. When you are this is called a substitution test. The dash is substituted by any of the words, but when you fill that word, it should match with the phrases and it should match to form a complete sentence. Okay. Yes, sir. The book one is in the corner. Whether I can write book here? Whether in the book, if I can write, whether the table one is in the corner, whether it will suit? Well, no. So you have to substitution. So what are all the words which comes before that word has to be known properly. So previous cases also. Now, the man read this book. Okay. Instead of man, I cannot add some other. The table read this book. I cannot add like this. I cannot make this as a proper sentence. So you have also, when you're making a sentence, you have to make that it should be correct one also. Okay. For that, when you're filling the words before each and every word, it should be proper. Okay. So these are all some examples for noun phrases. Kermit the Frog together forms a noun phrase. December 26th, they form a noun phrase. The reason he is running for president, that is a noun phrase. What is the phrase I told you? It's a collection of what is the phrase?
Collection of words.
Above only it is there. No, what is the phrase? Phrase is also called as constituents or classes. It's a group of words act as a
Single unit.
December 26 is a collection of words. It acts as a single unit saying some date. Okay, Kermit the Frog, the reason he is running for president. So these are the collection of words that form a single unit called as one phrase called as the noun phrase. Okay, so here you see the different phrases they have given examples for phrases. Noun phrase, adjective phrase, prepositional phrase, verb phrase. The man from Amherst. Why it is called as a noun phrase? This is a phrase having 4 words. The man from Amherst. Why we call this as a noun phrase? They will be taking the head word, that is a root word, that's a first word. Okay. And they'll be finding out the POS tagging of that word. So the head word is, what is the head word here? What is the thing they are talking about? What is the head word?
Man.
Man. So the man is a noun, so it forms a noun phrase. The man is used to represent the grammatical unit of the whole unit. Yes or no? The man is the one who is coming from Amrest, the man. So the man is used to represent the grammatical unit of the whole sentence. So which word is taken as a head? The man. Okay. The man can be used to denote the grammatical function of the whole unit. So the head here is the noun, that is the man. So here the entire phrase forms the noun phrase. Similarly, extremely clever. What is this phrase? Extremely clever. So head word is clever. So how clever he is? How he is explaining? How clever he is? Extremely clever. Here the head word is what? Clever. So that clever, how they are defining that clever as?
Adjective.
Adjective. So it's an adjective phrase. Down the river. So down here, the head word down is what type of phrase? Prepositional. Okay. Prepositional phrase. And killed the rabbit. Killed you take. So extremely is talking about what? He is extremely poor or extremely clever. So that is clever is a head word which is telling how extreme extent he is clever. Like that. So kill the rabbit. So the root word is killed. Head word is killed. Killed is what type of tag? What is the root? Head word is killed is what type?
Verb.
Killed with verb. So that phrase becomes a verb phrase. So like that we have to see. Noun phrase, adjective phrase, prepositional phrase, verb phrase. We have given an example. Then here is an example to tell that a word also can act as a phrase or a class or a what is the other name? We call it as constituents, right? Constituent, phrase, or a class. As I told you, a class or a phrase can be a collection of words or it can be a single word also. In general, a single word also can act as a phrase. Okay, always we cannot need that phrase, need not always have a multiple words. Okay, so in this example, Joe. So what is an example given here? Can you tell me? Can you tell me what is an example given here? Joe is a noun, it forms a noun phrase, and Joe grew. Can you read out the sentence? Can you all able to see the sentence in the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read out the sentence? That is only I am asking, right?
Joe grew potatoes.
Potatoes. Okay, so Joe is a what? Noun, and potatoes also
Noun.
noun. So this I call it as a noun phrase. Joe is a noun phrase, and potato is also a noun phrase. Now see this example. So Joe and potatoes both are noun and they forms a noun phrase. A single word also can be called it as a phrase. For that, I am showing some example. Next example. Can you see this and can you tell what is the difference between this example and the previous example? Can you compare this with Joe grew potatoes? What is this sentence? What is the sentence? Can you read out the sentence?
The man from Amherst grew beautiful russet potatoes.
Okay, so what is the difference between this sentence and the previous sentence which I have shown you? The previous Joe grew potatoes. Can you tell me what is the difference? I want to compare this sentence with the previous sentence. So Joe is replaced with a Joe of a single word in the previous example is the man from
Amherst.
Amherst. So how they are expanding Joe? They are explaining Joe in depth as the man from Amherst. Instead of I am telling I am Sushila, that they are explaining that I am a woman coming from here like that. So the man from Amherst, instead of telling their name, a man from Amherst grew. Instead of telling potatoes, they are explaining potatoes as how they are explaining it.
Beautiful russet potatoes.
Beautiful russet potatoes. So if you see here, it is same as that of the previous sentence. Here Joe is replaced with the 4 birds of unit, the man from Amherst. And the potatoes are replaced with 3 birds, beautiful russet potatoes. So noun phrase may be a single word like Joe or a group of words like
The man from
Amherst. Very good. Similarly, so the larger the noun phrase, what it is. So what is the thing you are coming out with the previous sentence and this. Larger the phrase, words in a phrase, what you will be getting it. What is an objective? Smaller the words in the phrase. So a phrase can be a single word or it can be a word. So larger the words in a phrase will give dash. Here larger the words, right? How many words in a frame is a noun phrase? 4. But in the previous example, how many words form a noun phrase?
Only one.
1. So can you tell me larger the words in the noun in a phrase, any of the phrases, it gives what? Dash.
More meaning.
Very good. It gives a better idea about the structure of the sentence and more meaning also. Okay. It gives the better idea for the structure, how the words are grouped. The man, you cannot write the from man, the amrest man from group like that. Okay. So the man from amrest, the more the words, we'll get a better idea about the structure of how a sentence is structured properly or not. If the words are smaller in the phrases, we cannot go through that. So that is a difference we have seen from these two examples. And one more thing, what we are inferred is a phrase can be a single word or it can be a collection of words. But the collection of words is better because it gives a better idea about the sentence. Yes or no? Next one. So this is one example. So Joe appears in the place that a larger noun phrase could have been used. Okay. So instead of Joe, we are using a larger noun phrase, the man from Amherst. Next. Evidence of constituencies. Okay. They are telling that a constituencies can be put it in different places. See, Kermit the Frog. I told you, no, Kermit the Frog, day, December 26th, the reason he is running for president. All these words forms a noun phrase. Yes or no? I have shown this example, right? So I have given only one word there. I made it the sentence here. These are all the constituents for noun phrases. So the same thing they have given here. So Kermit the Frog comes on stage. They come from December 26 comes after Christmas. So in these words, these all forms. So they have given there I have given only the noun phrase. Here I made it as a proper sentence with the noun phrase. But that is not our aim. See here this example. If you take one phrase, I am taking one constituency. Constituency is also called as a phrase. I am taking a proportional phrase. What is the proportional phrase I am taking? What is the phrase I am taking? Here I have a collection of words on December 26. So how many words forms a proportional phrase here? How many words forms a proportional phrase here? I am taking a phrase, proportional phrase, and that phrase is on December 26th. So how many words I have in that phrase? There's a single word forming a phrase or a collection of words forming a phrase in this example?
Collection of words forming.
Collection of. So how many words we have in this example?
3.
3 on December 26th. So these 3 words together forms what type of phrase?
Prepositional phrase.
Prepositional phrase. So see here, I will be using, it is not that I will be using this prepositional phrase in the same sentence in 3 different ways, but it should not change the phrase structure and it should not change the meaning of the sentence also. See here, on December 26th, I would like to fly to Florida. I would like to fly on December 26th to Florida. The entire phrase, it is not that the phrase means I have to, in one sentence, the same sentence I have to use only in the beginning. It is not like that. It can be used anywhere, but it should not change the meaning of the sentence. Whether in these 3, whether it is changing the meaning. These 3 sentences, whether it represents the same thing.
Yes,
I am taking the collection of words together. I am not splitting the words on in one place, on December in one place. And I am not using another place. See here, I am using like this. On December, I would like to fly 26 to Florida. I am not splitting like this. That is wrong. Okay. Sorry. Okay. See this. So what this means that if you're taking a phrase, that phrase can be used in any part of the sentence, but you should not change the meaning of the sentence. That is the main thing. Okay, so that's why I'm taking. So I am not taking a single word. I am taking a group of words. That group of words only you have to use in different places. You cannot split the words, the phrases. In the phrase, you cannot split the word and you cannot use like this. See here, I have given. On December 26th, I would like to fly. On December, I would like to fly 26th to Florida. Like that, I cannot write it. I have to take the entire phrase. I can substitute in different parts of a sentence, but the sentence should also be a meaningful sentence. That is the one they are going to try to infer here. So these two are not correct. Only these three ways I can use it. We cannot say that one phrase in one sentence can be used in only one question. You can use one people on, I am telling on December 26th is a prepositional phrase. I am telling December 26th, I want to go to Florida. Please make a proper sentence. So one will be using what on December 26th prepositional phrase like this. Other student will be writing like this. Other student will be writing, but all three are correct. They are not splitting the phrases. It is appearing in different places with a proper prepositional phrase. But you cannot split the thing and you cannot write like this when you are making a sentence. You cannot split the words in the phrases. Okay. So modeling these constituencies, this is the tree which I have shown you, the man read this book. How to construct the past tree is the main thing. Okay. So now we know the man read this book is a word given in the sentence, and we know determiner, noun, verb, determiner, nominal, all these are called as the POS tagging, and we know what is the phrases now, collection of words together with the related. The noun together forms a noun phrase. This book together forms a noun phrase. Verb, this noun phrase gives a verb phrase. So we know what is the constituency, what is the phrases. So now we will be learning how to construct this syntax tree for the given sentence. So for that, we will be learning we will be learning the context-free grammar. Okay, so how to model this? Okay. 1 minute, students. Okay, so how to model this to make a syntax tree? For that, we will be learning a context-free grammar that is called as a CFG. Okay, so what is CFG? Any idea? You have learned in TOC or something? Context-free grammar. To construct a syntax tree, we want some idea about CFG. CFG is a context-free grammar. It is a common way of modeling the phrases given in the sentence to make a syntax tree. Can you tell me what is CFG? What CFG will have? Do you know what?
Terminal gives a combination of terminal and non-terminal, basically.
Very good. So it has some production rules. You will be writing some rules like terminal gives terminal, non-terminal, like that. You will be writing some rules. That rules we call it as what? Protection rules. We call it here as protection rules. Okay. See here we have, so CFG is the context-free grammar. We have some protection rules on it. What is the protection rules? These rules is used to express in which the symbols of the language can be grouped or ordered together. He is telling, right? So how it is ordered? A terminal can be followed by a, some rules you are telling, right? Which symbols are grouped together can be represented by protection rules, which symbols are grouped together, terminal followed by a non-terminal, like that. I am preparing some rules. That rules we call it as a protection rules. So here in CFG, you will be using a protection rules to express what are the way in which the various symbols in the language, symbols of the language, symbols are here nothing but the words. The various words or the symbols in the language are grouped together. That means which symbol are grouped together. Which symbols can be grouped together? The can be grouped together with what? The is a determiner. Determiner can be grouped together to form noun, to form a noun phrase. Yes or no? So which symbols are grouped together? That can be represented as a rule. That rule we call it as a protection rule. Okay. So let's see here. Noun phrase can be composed of either a proper noun or determiner followed by a noun. Yes or no? Noun phrase is one, either it can be a noun, proper noun, or it can be a determiner followed by a, the previous example, noun phrase is a determiner followed by a, this book, the man read this book. No, the is a determiner. Book is what? Book is given as
No.
Nominal. Nominal is nothing but a single noun or a collection of nouns. Okay, so that's why here see what is a protection rule example they have given. A noun phrase can be either a proper noun, only it can represent only a proper noun. Joe grew potatoes, so Joe is a proper noun, so that forms a noun phrase. Or it may be a collection of words, means or a determinant followed by a nominal. And a nominal, what? How they are defining a nominal? How they are writing a nominal? Nominal can be One noun
One.
or more than one nouns. Okay. Noun or a collection of nouns. We call it as a nominal. So this is here you'll be using a context-free grammar to draw the syntax tree. What is CFG? In CFG, we have a protection rules. What is the protection rule? The protection rule is to express what are the ways in which the various symbols, other symbols are nothing but the words of the language are grouped together. Okay, which are all the words grouped together to form a noun phrase? Which are all the words together to form a prepositional phrase? Okay, that is which symbols are we grouped together? Symbols are here the words. So the man. So these two combine together to form a noun phrase. Like that, we'll be representing as a protection rule. So if you take an example, noun phrase can be composed of a proper noun or determinant followed by a nominal. A nominal can be one noun or more than one noun. Okay. So can you tell me how this can be represented as a protection rule? For the first sentence, can you tell me the protection rule? Noun phrase can be composed of either proper noun or determinant followed by a nominal. Can you write a rule? Can you tell me? Even if it is wrong, fine. Can you give a try? NP implies noun phrase, we call it as NP. NP implies
Noun or a D
proper noun or DT.
followed by nominal NO.
So how you will write it? See here, NP. See, this is the protection rules for the above example. So first, noun phrase can be composed of either proper noun. So NP, noun phrase is represented as NP. NP gives proper noun. Okay, NP can be a proper noun. This is one protection rule. What is the other rule? Or NP can be
Determinant followed by.
Determinant
very
followed
good.
by
Determinant nominal. So determinant they are writing as DET. So DET followed by nominal. So this is the first sentence protection rule. What is the second sentence? A nominal can be one or more than one noun, a single noun or more than a noun. Okay. So how I can write it? A nominal can be a noun or noun followed by a nominal can be a single noun, so that can be a noun. This pipe symbol is R, either a single noun. Collection of nouns means I cannot write how many nouns I have, right? So noun followed by again
Nominal.
any noun.
nominal. So if I have two things means what I will do? Nominal gives noun nominal, again nominal gives noun. So that like that I have to write. That's why nominal can be a single noun. This is an or symbol. Then noun followed by a nominal. This is either if I have multiple nouns, so first noun followed by again second noun nominal. So again for this nominal gives noun nominal like that it moves on. So this is a protection rules for this sentence. Okay. So this is a protection rule. Okay. So how to write this rule? We will be learning it. Okay. Generally, if you take CFG, we have four main important thing unit in CFG. A grammar CFG in a CFG, a grammar G is represented or is explained in terms of four main important components. TNSR, where T represents, you take it, set of terminals. Okay. First you write T represents a set of terminals. From terminals, I cannot derive anything. Whether I can tell that, so what it will be? So what will be a terminal? I cannot derive anything from the terminal. So what will be a terminal in a sentence?
The period start. Noun.
What?
The noun determinate like that.
No.
Words, ma'am. Final
What?
words.
Very good. Final words. That is a leaf nodes in the final words represents which part of the tree. That's why I showed you the tree before itself to get an idea of that. So which word form the final thing? Leaf nodes. That form the final words form the which part of the tree? Leaf nodes of the tree. So T we call it as a set of terminals. So from the terminals I cannot derive anything. So that is called as a terminals. The terminals or the leaf nodes in the tree, it always has the words which is present in the sentence. It is always at the end. From this I cannot derive anything. Next one, N. N is a set of non-terminals. It helps me to derive the derivations. From that I can able to derive more states. Okay, from a pre-terminal I can derive a terminal. Like that I can derive many states. Okay, so that is called as a non-terminals. And S is called as the start symbol. Okay, that is the starting of the start symbol to start the derivation. Okay, and R we call it as the protection rules. Okay, so what is the R is the rules for the protection, which is of the form X implies gamma, where X implies gamma. You please make a note. X, whether it is there in the slide, next slide, I don't know. Otherwise, please make a note. No, it is not there. Please make a note for these rules. The protection rules of the form. We have seen no protection rules. What is the left hand side implies? We have seen an example protection rules in the previous slide, right? What is this protection rule? Left hand side implies? We have left hand side implies right hand side, right? RHS, LHS, this is a protection rule symbol, general syntax. Okay, so the protection rule is of the form X implies gamma, where X belongs to N, that is set of non-terminals. X should, that is left hand side should not be a terminal. X should be, you write it, X should be a single non-terminal. It's not a collection of non-terminals. It should be a single non-terminal derives the RHS. And gamma is a combination of what? Set of what? It's a sequence of?
Terminals and non-terminals.
Very good. For terminals and non-terminals on the right hand side. So rule is the left hand side implies RHS, where left hand side is a single non-terminal and the right hand side will be a collection of terminals followed by a non-terminal. Sometimes non-terminals will not be there, only terminals, or simply non-terminals, or the collection of terminals and non-terminals. Okay, so till here we will stop it. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow after your class test, beginning is a test, students, please